Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Last Month in TV. I'm Ben.
Hello there, I'm Nick.
We are officially in 2020.
Indeed we are. Cheers. Happy New Year.
Happy new decade.
That too. Ooh. Roaring 20s. Here we go.
Hell yeah. You know, funny is always when people keep saying that the new decade doesn't actually start until 2021. And I'm like, I disagree.
Why?
Because people are like, oh, the sequence doesn't start on a 0, it starts on the 1. And I'm like, okay, but like, sidebar. All right.
Math is hard.
So I think we should try a new format.
Okay.
So what I am going to do, I'm going to run through the premieres and the finales that we had in January and a couple that were towards the end of December since we last saw you guys. So I'm going to run through these, and if you have anything to say about any of them, interject.
Sounds good.
And I'll do the same. I'll interrupt myself. All right, so finales and premieres of January. I'm going to reach back into December on the 18th.
Sorry. Ryan licked his lips at me.
Oh, wait.
I don't know what I just got.
Are we going to do the A through F thing?
The what?
The rating system?
Not the shields and swords. Please, not that. Yeah, do
It's
yeah.
like a solid sword and half a shield.
So we were trying to come up with a rating system for the show, and Ben's glorious idea, because we are the movie nights, was 2 swords or 3 shields or all that other stuff. If you would like to see that as the rating system, drop a comment below.
I can't tell if he's giving that idea a thumbs down or pointing towards the comments.
Both? Neither? So for this episode, we're going to go with an A through F rating system.
We're gonna try it out, see how it feels. So, I think it should work.
Yeah, it'll be
We'll
fine.
see.
Look at us.
Yeah, being official. All right. So, reaching back into December a little bit. On the 18th, we had the true crime documentary series "Don't Fuck with Cats" on Netflix, which I would give a B. It's pretty good.
I have not watched that nor heard of it.
I fucked up my neck a couple weeks ago, and so I sat and watched the entire thing in one
Were
sitting.
you fucking with cats?
No, I'm actually very allergic to them.
Same. Allegedly.
Hey. Allegedly.
Sometimes I sneeze, sometimes I don't.
Oh my god. All right.
Continue.
I'm so allergic
You wanted
to
me to
cats, I'm
interject. There's a joke somewhere. Context clues.
All right. December 20th, we had The Witcher. Have you watched any of that?
I have not, but I love Henry Cavill, and I'm ashamed of myself that I haven't watched it yet.
Me too. I love him. I did watch one episode and did not like it, so
No?
I stopped.
I've heard it's like not for everyone, but like if you like the games, you'll like it. But also, it's captured an audience that hasn't played the games that really likes it.
Yeah, I am completely unfamiliar with the franchise, so I went into it knowing nothing. And
It's based on books too.
oh, I did not know that.
I did not
I
either.
also heard if you like Game of Thrones, you'll also kind of like
If you like Games of Thrones,
James Bond's non-stop.
Colabondulance.
Moving
Dalton's like,
forward,
why did I give these to a podcast? This was
Yeah.
a mistake.
which is an excellent question. On Christmas Eve, we had the new season of Lost in Space that came out. I loved the first season. Watched 2 episodes of this new season. Was not in love with it.
Have not watched any of that, but I know about the daddy robot. The robot apparently is really buff, and people were thirsting, as the kids say, about this robot.
Gives a whole new meaning to Danger, Will Robinson.
Bong!
And then right off on the first day of 2020, January 1st, we had Doctor Who premiere.
Yes.
Love that show. Have not watched it yet.
Yeah, I have actually never seen an episode of Doctor Who,
That's a shame.
which maybe disqualifies me from hosting a TV podcast. But I do know about weeping angels. That's about it. And they fascinate me.
Everyone knows about weeping angels.
Yeah, they fascinate me. It's really
They
cool.
fascinate you?
Yeah. I
See,
think it's a really cool concept.
words. That episode just got really overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
That I just like, cool.
Yeah.
I know, like, this episode that, like, if you know about Doctor Who or have heard the words, you know about that episode.
Yeah.
Like, it just became...
It's like overhyped.
Yeah.
Does it deliver though? Is it a good episode?
It delivers, but it doesn't really have the true, like, essence of what Doctor Who is, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Because I'm thinking like of overhyped episodes like The Long Night with Game of Thrones, where
Yeah.
it was a trash TV episode.
I mean, the whole last season.
Well, yes.
I mean...
But we'll get to that. Yeah, later on we're going to be discussing, of course, quickly we'll go over the Golden Globe winners.
Yes.
And then we'll dive into our top 10 TV shows of the decade. Since we are now in the new one. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not. Ryan keeps licking his lips.
Try. What do you want me to do?
Look away when you're going to do it. That's fine.
So January 2nd, a new season of Last Man Standing started.
Tim Allen.
Yeah, Tim Allen, and that's the Republican show, right?
Still going?
That's the conservative show that, like...
I think it's conservative in the sense of the star is conservative
Mm-hmm.
and then plays probably a conservative person, but the same way that, like, the Roseanne revival,
Mm-hmm.
the Connors are Republicans because that's what that family would be
Right.
demographically.
Right.
It's just that Tim Allen's actually a Republican, so then it gets like this other layer added on to
Because
it.
I remember there was a whole bunch of news when it got canceled, and conservatives were upset because they were like, you canceled it because of that.
Yeah, it was just it. Yeah, it got picked up again. So
Right. So moving on, January 3rd, and with an E. I've never heard of that, but it premiered. Dracula premiered on January 4th.
I wanted to watch that.
I will give it an A-.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's so there's 3 episodes. They're an hour and a half long each.
Sherlock's.
Right, exactly, the same creators.
Yeah, Moffat. and
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
I know some things.
the first 2 episodes are fantastic. They're completely different genres, and it's fantastic. And then the 3rd episode, in my opinion, kind of drops the ball a little bit, but it's still really good.
Is it like old school, like some horror imagery and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've seen it, you know why I'm hesitating to answer. Yeah, there's a twist. I'll just leave it at that. You do get the old school stuff for sure, and like the classic Dracula imagery, castles and Transylvania, all that stuff. But there's a twist to it. So
It's actually in 2030 in the future. Future vampires. Blood transfusions. They don't accept blood anymore.
Oh, and the other thing is that it's scary, yes, and suspenseful, and also super homoerotic.
I'm there.
I was sold.
I don't know how to. I don't know what question to pose after that because I'm afraid of the answer. How so? How do you mean?
Dracula definitely like moves in on some guys.
And blood's blood.
Exactly.
If you're a vampire, you need blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is actually part of his motivations behind it. As you know, he's hungry.
Thirsty, as the kids say.
Apropos. All right, so January 5th, there was...
Big word.
January 5th, a really brilliant day for television. Naked and Afraid and Sister Wives premiered.
Next.
And then January 6th was The Bachelor and Manifest, which actually was a pretty big show, I think, for NBC, which it's going into its 2nd season. So that premiered on January 6th. January 7th was a big day. There was Ellen's Game of Games, Siesta Key, Vanderpump Rules, Black-ish, which came back from a hiatus, FBI Most Wanted, which also came back from a hiatus, The Resident came back from a hiatus, and Jeopardy, The Greatest of All Time. So that's special with those top 3 guys. That happened on January 7th.
I watched none of those, but
me neither.
the Jeopardy people, they had a great like fake Twitter feud
Oh,
going
did they?
on. Yeah, the 3 of them. It was pretty funny.
When
Yeah.
is Alex Trebek retiring? It's coming up soon, isn't it? Because he's like seriously ill.
Yes. I don't know when he's retiring.
Yeah.
I think he still has some like to do or something like that.
Yeah.
He's kind of just waiting around and seeing what happens.
So January 8th, there was Catfish, Criminal Minds, Undercover Boss, all of the Chicago shows. So Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD.
Are there that many now?
Yeah, yeah. And I guess it's like the MCU of television because they all,
The MCU of Chicago's.
yeah, they all Chicago's finest.
Chicago's finest.
The CFU, Chicago's finest universe. You can edit that out. That was dumb.
It is.
Oh, it's
But-
staying in now.
Oh,
Yep, it has to. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, and I stop.
That joke was a draw.
I'll take it. But they all came back from their mid-season hiatuses, as did Modern Family, which is one of my favorite.
I like that show.
Yeah,
I still watch that.
it's one of those shows that I think has been consistently funny, even though it's like I don't even know how many seasons. it's in now.
Was that episode the one where they're all in that hotel type place? Did you watch it?
I'm not caught up.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
It was a good episode. If that's the one that. It
the mid-season finale.
Yeah. The premiere.
Oh, premiere. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in their last season.
Yes. Yes, that is true.
A modern farewell, as they're calling it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then another show called Party of Five, which I believe is a remake. Of
Sounds-
an older
yeah.
show. That premiered on January 8th. January 9th, we had Very Cavallari. Law and Order SVU came back from a hiatus, and Will and Grace came back from a hiatus.
Do you watch that?
I've stopped.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about this in the last episode, but I don't know. It's kind of getting very repetitive for me. A lot of the same gags and I love Deborah Messing.
It's a good ensemble. Though.
Yeah, undoubtedly. But just every time Deborah Messing delivers a joke in that show, I feel like she's trying not to laugh,
Yeah.
and I can just see it on her face, and I'm like, I'm over it.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of gave up. My husband still watches it, but I don't. January 10th, AJ and the Queen premiered on Netflix.
You were telling me about that
Yeah,
show.
which we were just
Yeah.
chatting about. Which I would give that an A.
An A.
Possibly an A+. I mean, it's surprising. For anyone who's watched RuPaul's Drag Race, we all know RuPaul's acting skills are infamously painful to watch.
I disagree.
But...
Continue.
But in this show, she plays a queen called Ruby Red, who is just essentially RuPaul, but in universe of the show. And I believed every word she said. And it was actually really genuine and heartfelt and hilarious. The child actor who plays AJ was not my favorite. But then again, I think the child actors are very, very hit or miss.
Yeah.
So it's whatever, but overall it was really great. And Jane Krakowski was in an episode.
Okay, I like her.
She was hilarious. And a lot of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race make cameo appearances as various characters. So it was a lot of fun to watch.
Naturally. Yeah.
Of course, making that Drag Race money.
Yeah. Exactly.
So moving on, January 12th, The Outsider premiered on HBO, which is based on Stephen King's book of the same name. And that stars Ben Mendelsohn, Cynthia Erivo, and not Jeremy Renner, Jason Bateman.
That is a great cast. I love both Ben Mendelsohn and not Jeremy Renner, Jason Bateman.
I don't know why I thought Jeremy Renner.
I didn't know that show was I did not know that show was a thing, and I'm very excited now.
Yeah, one of my coworkers at work is raving about it. He says it's excellent. So it's 3 episodes in at this point, because they dropped 2 episodes on the first night. So I really need to go catch up with that. On January 13th, The Good Doctor came back from its mid-season hiatus, as well as... Oh, just kidding. That was the only mid-season hiatus. There was a premiere of a show called The Healing Powers of Dude, which is about a dog. So I will probably watch it. I love dogs so much. And then The New Pope premiered, which is a follow-up to The Young Pope.
So with John Malkovich, right?
Yes.
I heard about it. It doesn't really interest me, but I love John Malkovich, so I might watch it.
Yeah. It's that kind of stuff is always kind of interesting to me, and I don't know if it's because I was raised Catholic, so I have like these repressed memories that for some reason make religious documentary style shows or religious dramas interesting to me. Although I did watch it's a movie, but The Two Popes, and I was not impressed.
That. Yeah, with Anthony Hopkins, right?
Yeah. I love him and
the other people.
Yeah.
John Malkovich in The New Pope.
Yes.
You know, John Malkovich was in the greatest movie ever made,
And what's that?
Con Air. But that's for another time.
Which I've never seen. Which we should do like a live watch of that.
Oh, that would be.
support
I
that.
would. Yeah. As a producer, it's greenlit. Yes. Yes.
Good.
Coming to you soon on the movie nights. All right.
I support this. You need to get the licensing.
That would be fine.
I disagree.
We don't have any fans.
Simon West is not going to let us use his movie.
Don't worry. We'll be okay.
Make it happen.
We will.
January 13th. Just kidding. I just talked about that.
Mm-hmm. January 14th.
January 14th, DC's Legend of Tomorrow came back, along with Arrow came back from its
Yeah, they got that
mid-season
whole
hiatus.
Arrowverse thing.
Right,
going
Crisis on
yeah.
Infinite Earth has
Yeah,
been going on,
that's what
which
it
I think it just ended, right?
It did, with a big surprise cameo at the end.
Which was...
I'll just say
Oh,
it.
should we reveal it or no?
Sure.
I mean, that was...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ezra Miller from the DCEU as Flash cameoed in it.
I did hear about that.
Yes.
So does that make the... Well, because it's from a separate universe, right? So I guess that doesn't technically make all the stuff in the shows canon in the movies.
Yeah, well, Flashpoint, just the multiple dimensions and everything like that. But interestingly enough, I don't think he was ever referred to as Flash in any of the movies.
No.
And-
Just as Barry, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they pick it up in
Yeah, and the guy's like, I'm the Flash. He goes, the Flash? What? That'll be interesting to see if that, like, if he picks up on that or if they reference that or something.
Yeah. On January 15th, one of my absolute favorite television shows came back on Sci-Fi, The Magicians.
Good things about
It
that
is
show.
fantastic. Earlier this... Well, no, sorry, it's 2020. Last year, I read the trilogy of books that it's based on. And at this point, the show has surpassed the books.
Yeah.
But the books are excellent, and the show is just phenomenal. The last season ended with kind of a really shocking character death that everyone was kind of like, how is that going to work?
Mm-hmm.
But I think they dealt with the characters kind of mourning that, and it moves on relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Rather than kind of wallowing, which I think some shows kind of fall into that trap after something like that, like Looking for Alaska. I love that book, but that show, they spent 2 episodes wallowing, and I was like, I'm done.
That's enough of that.
Yeah. And it was the last 2 episodes, so I was like, way to
That's
go
dying
out.
Yeah. Go out with a bang.
Yeah, exactly. But The Magicians, solid A+ every season, including the current one. Go watch it. Highly recommended. Also, that same day, the Goldbergs came back from its mid-season hiatus.
Yes, I watched that show. That's
Yes,
very good.
that's right. That was
Yeah.
one that we talked about last
Yeah.
episode, right? And then also Good Trouble started a new season, which I've not heard of.
No.
That's
I've heard of that. That is that's a spin-off of
The Good Wife.
no.
Oh,
Yes. I don't remember. It's a spin-off of some other show with
Okay.
the girls are in it. I don't remember the name of it.
gotcha.
I apologize.
As I'm going through this list, I'm realizing how many hiatuses are ending. Like, so many shows are making
Yeah, I
mid-season
feel like
premieres.
to streamline, we need to just go with like the ones we've watched.
Yeah, because this is like insane.
Otherwise, it's like I've heard of that show.
Yeah, because I think, and I think in general, most other months don't have this many premieres, do they? January's kind of like
Well, because they're coming back from the
Boom.
holiday break.
right.
Yeah. Future will just be like episodes.
Right, exactly. January 17th was Real Time with Bill Maher, American Housewife, Charmed, Dynasty, Fresh Off the Boat, which I love, Little America, and Diary of a Future President, which is a Disney Plus show that I've not yet watched.
I've not
but,
heard of any
I've
of the
heard
words
good
you
things.
just said.
Yeah, I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. January 19th was 911 Lone Star, which was the
With
Texas
Rob
spin-off.
Lowe
Yeah.
and Liv Tyler.
Yes, the Texas spinoff of Ryan Murphy's 911.
We gotta limit the amount of times we talk about Rob Lowe on this show, though. I don't support him.
Oh shit! He doesn't know this.
No, I don't.
Go into your hatred of Rob Lowe story.
All right, so it's not really a hatred, but I just had an idea for a TV show that I did nothing with. That I just told people because I thought it'd be funny, and it was very similar to The Grinder with Rob Lowe. So I have like a fake vendetta against Rob Lowe. I love him on Parks and Rec though, and his show that he had. He's a Bigfoot believer, and I support that. That's for another time.
What a great sentence. Also, that day was Avenue 5 and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I want to watch Avenue 5 very much. It looks hysterical.
Yes. Is that HBO?
Yeah,
Okay.
HBO. It's with Hugh Laurie.
Yes.
From
Yeah.
Stuart Little. And, right? He was in Stuart Little.
His most remarkable credit.
I would argue that.
No one's arguing against you.
Yep.
Exactly. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I actually watched that last night.
Okay.
That was a fantastic premiere.
Okay.
A+.
Good. What season is that in now?
10?
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
been trucking.
Yeah.
They went very topical this for the premiere, and I thought that was funny.
I love that SNL keeps getting Larry David back to play Bernie.
Fantastic Bernie Sanders.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. Which, speaking of SNL, they're going to be coming back towards the end of the month, January 25th, and it's going to be Adam Driver hosting.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, with
He's
Halsey.
always funny when he's on.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
I hope to God they revisit the Undercover Boss. Yeah,
That'd be good.
Oh my God, it would be great. I really hope they do. So January 20th, Street Outlaws and All American. January 21st, Chopped and The Connors, mentioned before. January 22nd, Riverdale came back. What's today? What is the date? Today's the 20th.
Today's the 20th.
So,
It's coming back.
so
You
Riverdale-
forgot, didn't Good Place start back up again on their hiatus?
Oh my God, yeah, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
God damn it, Ben.
You're the research department here. I just come here freestyling. What's this? And I knew that The Good Place returned?
Which I did too, I just haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I watched
The thing
both.
is,
Yeah.
I think Ben knows we're fucking with him, but his face is just like, I'm sorry.
No, but I feel really bad. That's an oversight.
It's so funny.
That's such an oversight.
Good Place returned. That is very good. They're in their final
Yeah.
season.
Motherforking bullshit.
Yes.
I love that show.
It's a great show.
January 22nd. Also, Nora from Queens, which is Aquafina's new show.
I saw that.
I love Aquafina. I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens with it, but
She's a lot to process.
yeah.
She's very funny, but
Yeah.
I don't see that humor translating to headline lead actor. Sorry.
Which, and I think the name of the show is Aquafina is Nora from Queens.
yeah, that's just.
Yeah.
She's fantastic in the Jumanji 3.
She's in Jumanji.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
She's
God.
in the new one, yeah.
In case you can't tell, I still haven't seen it. Yeah, and The Farewell, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. January 23rd, Station 19, Grey's Anatomy, Star Trek Picard, and The Bold Type all start.
Picard.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of
Yeah,
buzz
a lot
and
of people are
anticipation
excited
about that one.
What's the Bold Type?
That's a show that is on, I believe, Freeform.
Okay.
And it's about these girls that work for a fashion magazine. I think I started watching the first season.
Good.
And I mean, it was good. It just didn't really hold my attention, so I kind of. Like I talked about last episode, I am very cut and run with TV shows. Like if I'm not into it, I'm like, okay, next, because I know there's so much.
I
out
trudge
there.
through.
I know.
I don't stop.
The Walking Dead.
It's not my proudest moment.
Stomach.
God, no.
January 24th, coming up, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina comes back, which I love.
Someone told me to watch that show. My friend, he said it was really good.
It's really pretty good. Love me some Satan worship. Me and the other gays. Gotcha.
Welcome back to another episode of Last Month in Movies, or the movie nights. Hail Satan. Oh man, I did not think this was going here.
Wait, did you say this month in movies? What's the name of our podcast again? What are we talking about?
I don't know, we keep messing it up. I give this podcast 3 swords and half a shield.
I give it a horse's ass. Speaking of horses, January 31st, BoJack Horseman comes
Yeah,
out.
that's a transition. Oh, let's give a round of applause for that one. That was good. That makes it look like we know what we're doing.
We had that whole thing planned.
Yeah.
Not even close.
No, we did. No, we did.
But BoJack Horseman comes back.
I'm very excited for that. It's the last half of this last season.
Exactly. Which I I've actually not watched that show, but I saw a quote from it the other day, which it was when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
That show is about Big Sad and gives me Big Sad.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is a cartoon.
It's
much more
very
scenes.
deep.
Yeah.
It gets dark. Like it still has humor in it, but it's like it is serious topics covered.
Interesting. Let's check it out. Also, I know there's a gag in that show that no, I'm not gonna tell that story. It's not funny enough. It's about my husband having cancer. So.
Always tell a joke whether it's a win, lose, or draw.
I think it's funny.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. No, I think your husband having cancer is hilarious. Go ahead and tell the joke.
We're not getting renewed.
No, so there's a gag in that show where one of the characters has a balloon that says it's a boy or it's a girl or whatever, and it's crossed out and says tumor. And when my husband got diagnosed with cancer, which once again he's fine now, one of our friends came to the hospital
with that balloon.
Jeez. And he had to explain it to us because neither of us had seen the show, so we were just kind of like,
this is happening. Yeah.
But yeah, so. I guess it was funny. Was that a win, lose, or a draw?
That's a win.
Fuck yeah.
We'll see once the video's posted.
Now it's a win. We'll check the comment section on this.
Right. Let us know in the comments.
W, L, or D?
Always D.
And also the rating system. Boom!
I'm just really killing it with the gay jokes.
You are on fire tonight.
What?
That was good.
Are you saying I'm flaming?
I did not say that.
You guys want some more wine? I'm going to refill.
Hey, lawyer.
I love how generic that was. Hey,
lawyer, help! I would like to plead the fifth. What else came out this month? Don't make a joke there either.
All right, I'll let it go. Let it go.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a draw.
That was a draw.
I don't take L's.
Oh my god. All right, so that's it for the premieres for January. Fucking finally.
Fucking finale.
Hey.
That was an L. I'll admit that one. That one's on me.
So for the finales, I reached back into December a little bit since our last episode.
2020. No kidding.
December 20th, the morning show ended.
You were watching that.
I was, and I thought I had a really interesting finale. I'm wondering if because of all the production trouble they had with season 1, if they're going to be able to pull off a season 2.
Is that just actor stuff, or?
Yeah, it was a lot of different things. There was trouble. They changed the whole direction of season 1, like after they had shot a lot of it. So a lot of the as you're watching it, you'll notice a lot of Steve Carell stuff. It is completely separate from the other characters, and that's because they had to do a lot of reshoots with just him to kind of refocus where they wanted the story to go. Okay. So in terms of scheduling, it was easier for them to just shoot a lot of his
You're not getting Jennifer Aniston back for reshoots, I'll tell you that much.
No. Like you said before, she's busy making another Adam Sandler movie.
They're good together.
Yeah, but also Uncut Gems. Oh my god.
Snubbed for an Oscar.
Yeah. Oh my god. December 22nd, His Dark Materials ended.
That was a James McAvoy.
Yes,
I
correct.
like James McAvoy.
Yes.
It's a good actor.
Yeah, it was a great ending. I would give it probably a B+.
Okay.
I think the pace kind of got off in the last couple episodes. But it ended pretty strongly, and I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I'll watch him in anything.
Except in Mary Poppins.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's funny because I think he's a genius when it comes to writing.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
But I do not. Like
he had
it
a
when
little. He had a
sings.
brief, like 3-episode cameo stint on Curb Your Enthusiasm
Oh, did he?
last season. Really funny. Him and Larry
Oh.
David became like rivals.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
He kept wanting to have meetings with Larry David.
Yeah.
And they'd go into Larry David's office, and Lin-Manuel Miranda would sit in his chair, like behind his desk. And so it just became like this whole
Powerful.
view thing. And then he gives him tickets to Hamilton, and Larry David falls asleep. But he's sitting next to Lin-Manuel Miranda's wife,
Oh my
who
God.
wasn't his actual wife. She was played by America Ferrera. But, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, he is everywhere. He has In the Heights coming out later this year. It's awesome.
He
he's
does everything.
he's doing so well. Yeah. December 27th, The Mandalorian ended, which how did you feel about the finale?
I loved it, personally. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I thought it was relatively like intense, like having a person fight a TIE fighter. That was insane.
It was a very intense episode indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Warner Herzog.
I found it impeccably directed by Taika Waititi.
Which, wait, speaking of The Mandalorian, let's see if I can get this on camera. What is he about to do?
I'm
I've
terrified.
got Baby Yoda socks on.
Nope.
Can-
Well, higher. There you go.
Did you see him?
Showbiz. Yeah, we got it.
Guess who can't comment not enough toes on this episode?
That's showbiz, baby.
That's $200 right there.
Which, yeah, Disney finally came out with some Baby Yoda merch. They finally
It's about
capitalized
time.
on that. Which, did you see Build-A-Bear is coming out with
I did, yes.
the child
No one
plush?
built the baby.
I would like to build the baby. It is breathtakingly beautiful.
Oh my god.
It fills me with shock and awe.
Come on, baby, do the hand thing. He looks like he's having a seizure.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Which I actually really want one of those plushes, but they're probably going to be impossible to get.
And ridiculously overpriced due to the theme park admission price already.
Yeah.
I told you I'd find a way to do it in the episode.
God.
Werner Herzog, if you're watching, I love you. As the client in The Mandalorian.
Yes, specifically. He's the one who saved the puppet, wasn't
He saved the child.
he? Do it, you cowards.
He was, do it, you cowards! Sleeping.
January 10th, High School Musical, the series ended.
That was a great finale.
It was.
Yes.
It was. I was kind of hoping for some more cameos.
I
Not
wasn't
gonna lie.
expecting it.
Yeah, but, you know, I
Season
still
2, who knows?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Zac Efron in anything in a minute.
Yeah. What was the last thing he did? Was it the Ted Bundy movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing he did.
No, yeah, never mind. Greatest Showman's old.
Oh yeah, that was 2017.
Sorry.
Sorry.
My bad.
I just accessed my encyclopedia
bad, yeah.
of movie musicals.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's shown up in anything in a bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. But Forky asked a question. Also dropped its last episode.
Yes, it did. The second to last episode I
Oh.
thought was the best one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
What is cheese? What's cheese?
Is that
I
the
love
one
it.
where he talks to him about? Then he like, is that with the unicorn?
Yeah, when he runs him through
Yeah,
the,
and he's
the
like
whole
giving all the
yeah.
answers. Yeah,
And he just goes, do you have everything covered? Yeah, but what's cheese?
The way he moves. Yeah, that was perfect. Are you okay?
Got caught on my mic.
Boop, boop.
Voodoo. Left it open.
January 15th, Grace and Frankie both premiered and ended because they dropped the whole season.
It was the last season.
Yeah.
My mom watches that show and asked me about it. I
So
said,
does my husband.
Yeah, I said, is that the last season? She says, I don't know. Usually tell me that. I said, I think it is the last season. She goes, they didn't really end it like it would be the end of it. And I went, I'll Google it. And then I forgot. Sorry, Mom. I will text you after this. But now I can confirm. Grace and Frankie ended.
It's over, Mom.
Did you watch it?
No, I did not.
Ah.
I watched a little bit of the first season, and it didn't really grab my
I watched
attention, so-
episodes here or there when I was like back home in South
Mhm.
Florida, and it was all right.
Yeah.
I was just on the couch hanging out with my mom, and she was
Gotcha.
watching it, so it was like that extent of enjoyment on it.
Yeah. Sex education
second season, right?
Yeah,
It's Netflix. I didn't watch the first. But
Yeah, and I think I may have put this in the wrong place, but I thought I read that it was like the last season 2 that they weren't doing another one.
Oh, I don't know.
I may be wrong, but that's another one that my husband watches, not me. But yeah, that one dropped on the 17th.
Okay.
The Ranch, which is the final season as well, dropped
Is it?
on. Yeah, or actually that hasn't happened yet. The 24th.
I didn't know
it's
that's
dropping.
ending. I like
Yeah.
that show.
Encore on Disney Plus.
I haven't watched that.
Will be ending.
Yeah.
And The World According to Jeff Goldblum will be ending.
Is there one more?
Yeah.
I hope that gets renewed.
Yeah,
That's
me
a-
too,
that's a
because
good one.
it's phenomenal. Like I was saying last episode, I don't really enjoy shows of that type, but I just
Oh, I love
can't-
watching him.
I
Like,
can't
fantastic.
Stop. I cannot.
It's like
stop.
watch. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
fantastic.
I heard a story. Speaking of Jeff Goldblum, there was a photo of him with a teenager that looked like him, and evidently the teenager wasn't even the one that asked for the photo. It was Jeff Goldblum approached him and was like, "Pardon me, you very much like me. Can we take a photo?"
I 100% believe that he would do that.
Right.
That guy probably has Jeff Goldblum's cell phone number because he probably asked for it too.
Yeah. But I just find that hilarious. He's so human. Like he's
Just don't call it. Just text me this photo and erase it from your memory. That'll be it. I won't respond. No, don't do it. I'm trusting you with this. No. All
right. We'll see it on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
Arrow has its finale on January 28th.
Yeah, I heard that was ending.
Yep.
Is it still the Arrowverse then?
I don't know if the show is ending. I think it might just be the season. I don't know if I'm not sure.
Yeah,
If
the
it's,
show's ending.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My
So
producer
is it still
tells me
the
show is ending.
Arrowverse then after it ends?
No. The other shows are continuing. Arrow's just ending.
No, but I know. But like, I think that like that's typically referred to as the Arrowverse,
Yeah,
like all
the
their
Arrowverse,
shows.
yeah.
So like, is it still the Arrowverse even
Oh,
though
yeah, it's
Arrow
still the
ends?
Arrowverse. Totally.
I'm sure he'll show back up for the crossover events, like his
If he's
main.
alive.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure
Well, I
the
mean-
other characters, unless they just do a whole group wipe there.
Yeah, even when something bad happens, I'm like, man, don't you miss Stephen Amell? Or, don't you miss Oliver Queen?
I mean, if Flash can turn back time like Cher, then I'm sure they can go get him from some other timeline or whatever be it.
Cher just makes me laugh every time I think about her.
Cher's fantastic.
Also, she's releasing another album of
Is
ABBA
she really?
covers. Which I
Another
cannot-
album
Which
cover?
I cannot wait for because
That's
I adore
exciting.
that first one.
See, I haven't listened to it, but I like her cover of Fernando.
Yes.
I like that song. With Andy Garcia.
I feel like she must look back at
Cher
that Mamma Mia
Garcia.
movie and be like, "What? Why did I do that?"
I mean, it gave her 2 albums of ABBA covers, so
Right.
there's that. And she got to sing Fernando with Andy Garcia.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Can I help you?
You just can't get over that she sang with Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia sang a song with Cher. That's hysterical. He was the mayor of New York in the Ghostbusters with all the females.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was Andy Garcia. He's also in Oceans 11, 12, and 13. He was the owner of the rival casino.
Oh.
Yeah. How
Interesting.
about that?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Moving on.
Sorry, I sidetracked things. a lot.
So that wraps up the premieres and finales. Thanks for bearing with us, if you're still with us.
Drop a like below.
Um,
Tell us what you think of our rating system.
which we kind of didn't use
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
In fact, we just kind of made fun of the other one.
Yep.
We're
We're gonna mock ourselves into using that one.
We are. So now we're gonna go back through and give all of them ratings. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's a funny joke.
That was a lose. It's fine. All right.
That was a loss.
Yeah, not your joke, my joke.
Fat L.
Fat L. Can you like stamp like a hard L after that joke? Like,
Just right on my face right now.
I can, but I won't.
can I get a new producer? Ryan, can he send you the full edited podcast and then you
Yes,
can
I can
stamp
do
the
that.
giant L on it?
I can do that.
I'm kidding, Dalton. Off-screen fist bump.
Ma. I couldn't get the brr out. Did you hear that? It was like, it was like a sad pigeon.
That's sad.
You know what you need to get me? You need to give me like the soundboard that like the radio jockeys have, so I can do like the air horn and like the wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that's what I need. Put in the budget.
I'll be sure to submit a budget ticket for that.
And just while I'm talking, just in the middle of my sentences, just I give that one shield. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, I would love that. Need that in my personal life. Just at work. Just wah, wah.
Oh man. So there was some news this month in the world of television. No season 2 of Watchmen.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's exciting, right?
No, that's so sad.
I heard it was exciting. I heard they didn't want they don't want to taint the perfection that it was.
Yeah, and it's true. Damon Lindelof did not want to come back to do another season, and HBO said that they didn't want to do it without him. So I respect the integrity of that, but I hate that we're not getting any more of it because that show was damn near perfect. So it's a shame that we're not going to get another episode.
Yeah, but then season. I mean, look at the last season of Game of Thrones.
Right.
Eventually, it's going to reach a breaking point.
Right. That's true. You want it to end.
The last 5 of Walking Dead. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You want it to go out on a high
Season
note.
11 coming soon.
Yeah, and even though it did end, did you watch it? Did you watch Watchmen?
I did not. I haven't watched the first Watchmen, so I did not want to watch.
Oh, the movie.
The other Watchmen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely
true Snyder cut.
Right. Watching the movie will definitely inform your watching of the show.
Who watches The Watchmen?
Exactly. But the final episode ends on a really big cliffhanger. So now we'll
so now there's just
never know. Although it's one that kind of I can see it just ending there and leaving the rest up to the audience to kind of think of. Yeah. Which I generally don't like stuff like that, but I could imagine it going either way. Also, for The Boys on Amazon, which I'm a huge fan of.
I love that show.
Yes, like 5 Shields.
5 Shields and an A plus.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in talks for season 3.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, season 3?
Yes, because season 2 has already been shot. But he's
jumping the shark on that one. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan though. He's Negan on The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Is he still kicking on The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Is The Walking Dead airing right now?
No.
Okay. It's off season.
Yeah, between seasons. Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait. I think he's brilliant.
Exciting. I love
and I think he's gonna fit perfectly in The Boys.
Wasn't he in the original Watchmen movie?
He was the comedian. Yeah.
I'm sure that will fit right in.
Absolutely. Speaking of Amazon, there's a couple of other stories involving them. They announced some of the cast for its Lord of the Rings show.
I saw that. I didn't really recognize a lot of the names.
Neither did I.
I was kind of like...
Yeah, neither did I.
Neat.
But one of the big things that I took from that kind of blurb that they released was, one, that they're starting production, which is really exciting because that means we've got a timeline now.
Yeah.
And... Additionally, speaking of timelines, they clarified when the show is going to be taking place, and it's going to be taking place in what is called the second age of Middle Earth, which is hundreds of years before the Lord of the Rings Lord of the Rings series as we know it.
What about the Hobbit movies? Aren't those?
Yes.
Those are prequels.
Exactly. So the Hobbit takes place. I'm not sure what exactly the amount of years is.
Well, before the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So hundreds of years even before the Hobbit.
Kind of like what the Game of Thrones prequels.
Exactly.
Before everything.
Yeah. So I was wondering if we were going to get either returning cast members or recasting of characters in this show, but now they've made it clear that we're not going to have any of those characters in the show. Amazon also canceled production of its The Dark Tower series, which was going to be another Stephen King adaptation. Yeah. But unfortunately, they have canceled it.
That was the movie that came out recently, too, right?
Yeah.
That same property?
With Idris Elba.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure exactly what the plan was there, but I guess now we'll never know. after being stuck in limbo for a really long time, TNT's Snowpiercer series is finally going to be premiering in May.
That was a movie.
It was with Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. I've heard good things about it. I haven't had a chance to
it's
watch.
fantastic. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, it's
Sorry.
got Chris Evans, Octavia Spencer.
She's good.
Yeah, it's really, really very good. Kind of reminiscent of. Nope, not going to make that comparison. That gives away a huge plot point. So, not going to say it.
Who directed Snowpiercer?
Bong Joon-ho.
That's what I thought. That's the Parasite guy, right?
Yeah, who's getting a lot of recognition this season.
Well, that's cool that he's attached to it then. I'm sure then it'll tie in well. Or
Yeah.
Scott Derrickson's directing an episode.
Oh, you mean the director of Doctor Strange in the Multi...
Oh,
That made me
ouch.
sad.
That hurt.
Check out the Movie Nights podcast.
Check out the Movie Nights podcast. This week's episode, Dalton and Ryan discuss Scott Derrickson leaving Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
You know what that needs? Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Womp womp. If only I had a soundboard.
Like, fuck you.
Visit the GoFundMe link at the bottom of the page.
Drop a link below if you know someone.
Yeah, they're gonna fund me for Nick's fucking funeral.
Trying to cross my legs.
So I'll add some flair.
Yeah, so that's exciting that he's involved there because
And Scott Derrickson.
yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely.
And then one of the other bigger stories that also came out recently was Mindhunter has halted production.
I saw that. I was very upset by that. If only they could just, get their shit together and do it really quick before the contracts expire.
Right, which I think
Yeah.
the contracts have expired at this
They
point,
have,
right?
yeah. I mean, I was reading into it, and I respect the decision by everyone to handle it because the executive producer, Fight Club Dalton, director David Fincher. He's working on a Netflix movie, and also he's an executive producer over Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh,
Yeah.
which I watched
Yeah.
when I broke my neck and I couldn't move. I watched all 18 episodes.
I've seen 3 of them. It's pretty fun. I just haven't gotten the chance to go back and watch it yet. But I guess he's an executive producer on that. Is working on the
Okay.
second season.
Okay.
And is like, I'm doing all this stuff, which is halting their production, which is preventing those actors from getting to do other stuff that they want to do. So I didn't think that was fair. So I guess everything just kind of, at least that's
Yeah.
the PR statement.
Yeah. I have not watched that show. I watched one episode of it, and it didn't really grab me. But I do know Jonathan Groff.
It's
on
a
that show.
very dry show.
Yeah.
But it's very engaging if you're into that sort of topic and like serial killers and everything like that.
Yeah, I know. I do find that I think I find true crime stuff interesting, but more documentary style,
Yeah.
rather than dramatization. But I know Jonathan Groff from a whole bunch of Broadway stuff.
And Frozen 2.
Yeah, that's right.
He has the best song in Frozen 2.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that ballad up.
Power ballad.
But yeah, so that's kind of sad that that situation kind of put a couple people out of work. But hopefully it gets picked back up somewhere.
Showbiz, baby.
Yep. All right, so so next up, I think we should definitely address the Golden Globe winners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's another huge news item that happened this month. So I think I'll just kind of go through the television awards.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I'd say just say the award and then the winner. Probably don't need to go through them. Everyone's like, all right, nominated.
How dare you? They were all nominated for a reason.
If you'd like to, we can.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. That's the Two Shields idea.
2 shields. I half a sword and a sword. So stupid.
But the more we use it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
We're going to use it ironically, and then it's just going to catch on.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
All right. So the best performance by an actor in a television series went to Rami Youssef in. Is that how you say his name? Rami. for the show Rami,
Mm-hmm.
which I have not watched.
I have not either, but I felt like a lot of people were shocked by that.
Yeah,
just
and
given the names that were also nominated.
Yeah, and he made a joke actually when he was up there, and he's like, a lot of people are wondering who is that.
I don't have a speech because I didn't think I'd win.
Yeah. But followed thereafter by Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series, and that went to Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag, which I
That
am
won a
so
lot of
excited
awards.
about. Yeah, and it is so good. Which we'll actually talk about it again in a little bit here. But Phoebe Waller-Bridge actually started that show as a one-woman theatrical production at the National Theatre in London, which there's a filmed version of it. If you ever get to see it, it's excellent.
So went from a one-woman show
Mm-hmm.
to a movie?
No.
Or a movie, a film, someone recorded the one-woman show.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And then a TV
they
show.
filmed her doing it on stage, and then that transitioned into the TV series. So the idea of her kind of talking to the audience like she does in the TV show
One-woman
came
show,
from
yeah.
the fact that she did it on
Soliloquies
stage.
and-
Yeah, exactly.
I know theater terms.
That's one of my favorite.
Soliloquy?
Yeah, it's such a fun word.
Soliloquy.
Yeah, it's very. I feel like it's very Shakespearean. Soliloquy.
Soliloquy.
So
Indubitably.
that's another one of my favorite words.
Indubitably.
Best performance by an actor in a television series.
Rami for Rami.
Know what I've realized? That first one was for musical or comedy. I forgot to mention that. Also, Phoebe Waller-Bridge won that for musical or comedy series. I forgot to divide these up. Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
best performance by an actor in a television series drama went to Brian Cox for Succession, which
You watched that show.
watch Succession. 5 horses.
Brian Cox is good.
So good.
5 horses. I thought it was Shields.
What's better than a shield? A horse, I think.
Yeah.
A castle.
Horse for-
5 holy grails.
My kingdom for a horse? Talking about Shakespeare.
You egg.
Exit pursued by a bear.
Don't bite your thumb at me. You bit his thumb at me.
I bite my thumb at you, sir.
You bite your thumb at me.
I bite my thumb at you. But Brian Cox.
Shakespeare in the Park, folks. Check us out.
Oh my god.
I like Brian Cox. He's a good actor.
Yes, and he is excellent in Succession, particularly the first season, but also he was just a powerhouse in the second season.
Yeah.
Which this award was for the second season. The best performance by an actress in a television series drama went to Olivia Colman for The Crown,
She's good.
which she has won. This is
It's her year.
yeah,
And a
and
half.
she's won a couple of awards for playing queens.
Did
now,
she win
'cause
an
didn't she
Oscar?
win for The Favorite?
You're goddamn right she did.
Yes.
That movie was excellent, and she is excellent.
Was that lead or supporting for the
Lead,
Oscar?
lead.
That was
Lead?
lead. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. So she's amazing. She is also in Fleabag. She plays
Oh. Phoebe
Phoebe Waller-Bridge's mother-in-law, and she plays a royal. She plays a royal bitch in that show.
Beep, beep.
And it's interesting that that was also a huge category as well. I mean, we had Jennifer Aniston, Jodie Comer, who was in Killing Eve. I don't know if you've seen that show,
not.
but excellent. Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon. So like huge movie stars in a television category.
Didn't Jennifer Aniston just win the SAG last night for Best Actress?
I think so. Yes, for
Yeah.
the morning show. The best performance by an actor in a limited series or motion picture made for television. What a mouthful. But that went to Russell Crowe for The Loudest Voice, which I have never heard of. But I saw a clip of it
Russell
last
Crowe's
night.
always great, though.
Yeah. Unless he's in Les Mis singing Javert.
I disagree. Him and Hugh Jackman singing and fighting with wooden planks. Peak cinema.
They destroyed that score.
Peak cinema. Peak cinema.
I say a horse's ass. Maybe even the
Javert, 8675309. That doesn't sound right. I was very proud of that joke. That's a W. That's a dub.
What?
Ding. the bit calculator.
People listening to this on a podcast are gonna be like, these goddamn sound effects. They're gonna think you have a soundboard.
I hope.
They
I
don't
hope
know
they're
any
that
different.
good.
They
Yeah.
can't see us.
Wah, wah, wah.
What a great soundboard, Nick.
Thank you. It's new. My producer bought it for me.
But the best performance by an actress in a limited series or motion picture made for television went to Michelle Williams for Fosse Verdon, which I was very excited about. Sorry?
Is that
No, it's the tennis player.
Was
Yeah,
in Venom?
she's the love interest in Venom.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was in Venom.
Shoot. Venom.
We actually talked about that in today's podcast too.
Venom. Well, you talked about Morbius, right?
No, we talked about Venom.
Venom. Tune in to the latest episode of Movie Nights podcast where we discussed the Morbius trailer in the Venom verse
And Jared Leto's rockin' bod.
and Michael Keaton's cameo
Yes.
and his rockin' bod.
MCU?
Is that it?
Spider-Man universe? Sony says yes.
Ryan got a kick out of that one. Tune in next. No.
But I'm super excited about Michelle Williams.
Yeah, no, she's a great actress.
Yeah, because the Fosse Verdon series was excellent in its own right.
Sorry.
Hello?
Dog or something upstairs.
You thought that was a dog?
Yeah. Dogs can be heavy.
I know, but it sounded like a human for sure.
It's Lizzo.
I'm just imagining Lizzo running back and forth. Oh my god, feeling good as hell. Oh man. I love Lizzo so much, you guys. I saw her at the Jingle Ball in Tampa in December, and she's just fucking fantastic. What is so fun?
I want to call that an L, but it's a W.
It's a definite W.
That's
Thank
a
you.
dub, yeah.
What, my Lizzo joke?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, what's the next award?
Well,
Oh, you didn't finish. Sorry.
no.
Be quiet, Lizzo.
Yeah.
Juice.
I'm just saying song titles.
All V on my shoes, okay?
Oh god, I do love that song.
It's a great song.
You
You heard Harry Styles cover it?
yes,
It's pretty good.
yes. I hear
Pretty good.
Harry Styles is pretty.
I give it
pretty.
3 swords.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no clear meaning on what these
No.
words mean.
No, it's like galleons and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff in Harry Potter. I'm like, I have no idea what the
Do
exchange rate
swords
is
and
here.
shields have the same meaning? I don't know.
No, neither do
But
I.
we're gonna go on this journey.
What is a
together.
horse worth? A kingdom. Shakespeare. But Michelle Williams, as I was saying, it was very exciting as a.
Continue.
It was very
ignore me.
it was very exciting as a theater person
Uh-huh.
to get to watch Fosse Verdon because so many of the characters in that show were actual theatrical figures. So it was really, really cool to get to see that. And Michelle Williams winning for her portrayal of Gwen Verdon is just incredible because she was great. So good.
What was that on?
What was that on?
Yeah, what
that was
channel?
on FX. Which I really love what FX is doing. I
So
think
they're gonna be on Hulu now?
yes,
Yeah, it's like March or something.
But FX I think really has mastered the mentality of quality over quantity,
Absolutely.
except for American Horror Story. But you know,
I haven't
that is
watched it, but I've heard.
that is what
yeah.
it is. Yeah. But other than that, all
They're
of
kind
their
of Walking Deading themselves.
yeah. Which season 10 just aired, and they just got renewed through season 13. So
As did Walking Dead, I think.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think FX is doing really well with their originals. Like whenever they put out a new one, it's just
Yeah, it is.
like it's they usually nail it. I'm really excited for Devs coming up, which has Ron Swanson. What's his name?
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman
I've not heard he has a
is
new
starring
show.
in it. Yeah,
Devs.
Devs, DEVS.
What's that
I'm not
about?
really sure what it's about. The ads are kind of really abstract.
I would say
and
devs is like development people, like software.
I think I heard something about that's what it is, but
Mm-hmm.
the ads are very abstract and
Someone do an IMDb on that.
yeah.
Yeah, what am I looking at?
Devs, what it's about.
DEVS with Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
You can go back to that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
listen
Well,
to it.
while our producers look that up for us, best television limited series or motion picture made.
He's in it. Is that what you're looking for?
The plot of the show.
Yeah, what it's about.
Oh, part of the show.
But the best limited series or motion picture made for television went to Chernobyl, which we'll talk about in just a second. It looks like.
Yeah. So Devs, the plot is a computer engineer investigates the secretive development division in her company, which she believes is behind the disappearance of her boyfriend.
Oh, it sounds
So
like
it
a
sounds
drama.
sci-fi
Yeah.
drama,
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
that's interesting. 2020 premieres Thursday, March 5th. I don't know if you said that.
No,
No,
we didn't.
I did not.
We didn't even know what the show was about. You think we have the release date?
Yeah.
No, thank you for looking that up, Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Alex Garland's in charge of it. Ex Machina Annihilation.
Ooh.
Did you see that
So
Oscar
some
Isaac's in
sad-
Ex Machina now?
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about that on the podcast? No. That's confusing.
Wait, what do you mean now?
He's starring and producing in a movie titled Ex Machina. He already starred and produced in a movie
Well,
called
no.
Ex Machina.
He is producing a new movie that's based on either a comic book or a book called Ex Machina, but they're changing the title.
So it's not.
So it's,
Okay. So it's, yeah. Gotcha.
It's just funny though.
it's very funny.
Quick aside though. All right, we're back.
Yeah.
Back to the TV.
Yeah, so as I said, best television limited series or motion picture made for television went to Chernobyl.
Yes.
Which was
Chernobyl.
fantastic.
That's what I've heard.
It was so good. Jared Harris,
Great actor.
Yes, and I could not believe that that he did not win the best performance by an actor.
They're saving it for the Oscar for Morbius. Tune into the Movie Nights podcast where they discuss the Morbius trailer.
For Jared Harris isn't that?
Yeah, he's in it. He's going to play. Yeah, that.
Tune
Tune into the other podcast to find out that information.
But finish listening to us first.
Yes, absolutely. Do not click this link here to go to that video.
But yeah, Chernobyl is so good that I mean, this might just be the type of person that I am, but Chernobyl is so good that I then went and bought like 3 books about Chernobyl, including the one that the creators of the show were inspired by, called Tales from Chernobyl, and it's where the author went and interviewed all the people she could find who lived through the events of it, and Chernobyl is so good in that it shows how horrific the event was, but it also really dives into the political ramifications.
I heard
of
it's
it.
very dry. Is that?
It is pretty dry, but
an entertaining dry.
yeah, and it really shows how kind of resistant the political figures were to.
Do they deliver on the explosion?
Yes, it's. Because it was an explosion, but it was more of a meltdown than an explosion. So part of the building does collapse, but it's really just like the radiation that's coming out of it. But they're one of the most really like scary and effective sequences in that show. There's a young man who we've never met him before in the show. He just is
walking around,
kind of an everyman, and he is pulled in by the government to assist the army in going around the exclusion zone, which is what they call the area around the power plant, and going around and just killing all of the pets and animals and shooting them because they've been radiated. And so if they were to leave the exclusion zone, they could irradiate other people and other animals. So it's powerful, it's horrific, and it really just kind of is... It's just incredible. That show absolutely deserved that award. So next up was Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in a Series, Limited Series, or Motion Picture Made for Television. And that went to Patricia Arquette for The Act.
I saw that. I saw her acceptance speech.
Yes. I have not watched The Act. I've heard a lot about it, which that's the Gypsy Rose Lee show, right? Where her mom tells her she's sick, but she's not.
Based off real events, obviously.
Right. And that's going to be an anthology series, correct? Or that's the intention. So I don't have too much to say there because I haven't watched it. But I do have to say I love the all these anthology series.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
You kind of drop in on a season.
They dropped trailer for the 4th season of Fargo. That's an anthology.
Yes.
I was disappointed by it. I won't lie. The trailer didn't do much for me.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. But I adore that show, and I've been
great
waiting
show.
for so long
Yeah.
for a new season.
All 3 seasons were fantastic.
Yes. So I cannot wait.
And Chris Rock is a mobster. I mean, that's what sold me on it more than the trailer itself.
So I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, quality over quantity. They make us wait for it, but it's always excellent.
Yeah.
So the best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television went to Stellan Skarsgård for Chernobyl. Chernobyl. Chernobyl.
Dr. Eric Selvig. Good for him.
Yes.
MC.
But he killed it, and his exception.
There's so many Skarsgårds running around.
Yes.
In his acceptance speech. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, and the other two, not so much Stellan. Sorry, Stellan. The other two are just gorgeous. Oh my god. But Stellan, he made a really funny joke in his acceptance speech where he said that he's been nominated so many times for so many things, and that he never had eyebrows in any of them because he just doesn't have eyebrows. And then in this show, the makeup artist for the show gave him eyebrows, and he said, "I what?"
I won with eyebrows.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But the best television series drama went to Succession, which I
You support.
wholeheartedly agree with. It was up against some really strong contenders like Big Little Lies, The Crown, Killing Eve, and The Morning Show. But Succession, I think, was just far and away superior to all those shows. Best television series, musical, or comedy went to Fleabag, which I'm super excited for Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The end of the second season kind of leaves it as a series finale, but with all of the success she's having, I would love her to do another season.
Did she not plan on it?
I don't think so. I haven't heard either way, but the finale of the second season really seems like a conclusive ending. So we'll see. I hope she makes more. If she doesn't, it's fine. It can
So
live.
go on to do other projects that'll be
yeah.
equally as good. I'm sure if she's that talented.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and clearly she's a talented actress, but she's been writing stuff for television for a long time. So I'm really excited that she's getting this recognition. But again, some really strong contenders in that category: Barry, The Kominsky Method, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and The Politician.
Barry and The Kominsky Method are both fantastic shows.
I've not watched The Kominsky Method, and
Fantastic.
actually, you're not the first person to tell me that. My mom told me that it was really good.
I love Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin.
Yeah,
So.
and that's about an acting teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Alan Arkin plays his producer.
Okay, yeah.
Or not producer, his manager. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely, that's one that I want to check out. I just haven't had a chance to. And where can I find that?
Netflix original.
Oh, excellent.
2 seasons?
Excellent.
2 seasons.
Excellent. All right. Well, now I think it's time for us to dive into what we said we were going to talk about before.
Yes.
The top 10 of the decade.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know why mine is so high pitched. It's because I'm gay.
Honestly, thought the joke was just hanging there. I was like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
That's the first time in joke history where it was low-hanging fruit and it's still a W.
Yeah, that's a W.
Absolutely.
You teed it up, but I couldn't swing that bad.
Couldn't swing that way.
No.
I'm really going for the LGBT demographic.
This episode is titled Double Entendre.
All right, so how do you want to do this? You want to list yours, or do you want to go back and forth?
Whatever you think. What do you want to do?
Just lopped it up there, and you said you decide.
You decide. I don't make decisions.
Let's go back and forth, because that way I
are yours in any order?
No.
Mine are not either.
Okay. Yeah, because it was kind of hard for me to
See, what I want to preface this with some of my shows is that they may have started in the previous decade, but they also had a good majority of their stuff in the current decade.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard to find something that started and ended
right
perfectly in that.
Right, which is actually...
That's all 2015. Watch yourself. We'll get to that.
R.I.P.
Spoiler alert for my list.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So let's go back and forth, because that way, I think looking at your list, we had one overlap.
That's probably accurate.
But
I'll let you know if we get to it.
Yeah, it's actually at the top of my list, so maybe we can talk about it.
Cool.
But we'll just start off right at the top. Game of Thrones.
That is on my list. What a coinkydink.
Yeah, I think that was kind of unavoidably going to end up on the top 10 of the decade just because of its influence, I think.
Yeah, great show.
Yeah, it's just...
Great, not last season. but
Right.
Rest of the show.
Yeah,
fantastic,
kind of drove itself into the... Well, it didn't drive itself.
I mean, just the impact. It was the most pirated TV show. Like, it had all this. Like,
What a record.
Everyone was talking about it at the water coolers at work the other day, the next day, if those exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, one of the moments that kind of struck me with how influential and how big that show had become and how much of a cultural impact it was having was during the Orlando Fringe Festival last year, the International Theater Festival. We had a performance of Mean Gaze, and it was the Sunday night of the finale of Game of Thrones. It started
The
at the
series.
exact same. Yes. And so we had sold out all of our other performances of Mean Gaze, and that show, up to about an hour before the performance, we had like half a house sold.
Yeah.
Because no one wanted to come see the show because they all wanted to go watch
You
Game
have
of
to
Thrones.
watch it live.
Yeah, and never in my life before had I seen a piece of art in one medium so directly affecting
Another one.
a completely different medium that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So it was just it was
the impact. It's good majority of the population.
Right.
50% apparently. Thanos would be happy.
I am inevitable.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
But yeah, so that really blew my mind.
Yeah.
And reinforced to me how influential the show is, and I think it was, I mean, that was not by any means HBO's first big hit, but I think it was by far and away their biggest tentpole show that they ever had. Because, and I don't know the facts and figures on this, but I remember seeing that their subscriptions for HBO Now and
Dropped
HBO Go
off, yeah.
were like, we're wrong. Just because we were
They don't
subscribed.
really have. I mean, they had like Silicon Valley. They had like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but
Yeah.
aside from that, it was just kind of like
Yeah, it was
just shows existing. They had a lot of the movies on there. That was really their big thing.
right. But yeah, without a doubt, Game of Thrones has been I would venture to say the most influential television event
Yeah,
of the decade.
it's just a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. The definition of a phenomenon. All right, so I think that that kind of wraps up what I have to say about
Yeah,
Game of
pretty
Thrones.
much, yeah.
Kind of, worshipping it. Let's take one off your list.
One off my list was Community. If you ever watched that,
So this is one that I did not see,
No.
but I have heard of it, of course. But
it's a great show. It was just the concept. Did we have to stop? Oh, okay. Community was just, it changed the formula of what a sitcom could be.
Okay.
Because like the writers behind it were like the Russo brothers, who went on to be in the MCU.
Of course.
And the main, I believe, the head of it all was Dan Harmon,
Okay.
who is the head of Rick and Morty. So it just all, it
Enough
was a
said.
great ensemble with, you had Joel McHale, who's hysterical.
Right.
There's Childish Gambino, Donald Glover,
Yes.
who's absolutely fantastic.
I just started watching
stole that
Atlanta,
show.
and it's really good.
I've heard good things about that. Jillian Jacobs, the guy who plays Abed. I'm terrible with names. And then of course Alice. Yeah, Chevy Chase plays Abed. And of course Alison Brie, who's
Yes.
perfect. But it was just so different that it didn't really catch on, and then people discovered it later.
Okay.
But just really intuitive episodes, not like your typical laugh track.
Mm-hmm.
They had episodes where it was campus-wide paintball games and just ridiculous stuff like that.
I love that.
There's a dean on the show who is very flamboyant and cross-dresses a lot, but is
It's me.
probably one of the funniest comedic performances of the decade, I would say. Just, he's hysterical.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ken Jeong was on it
Okay.
for a bit there. He plays a Spanish teacher. Think about that one for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just really, that's the whole vibe of the show, and it's
Okay.
just fantastic.
Awesome. And where can that be streamed?
Hulu.
Hulu. Okay.
Hulu. Yes,
Right,
give
I'll
it
have
a
to check
watch.
that out. So, on a scale of swords, shields, and horses, Where does that fall?
What was top?
Horses. 5 horses.
Five horses for this kingdom.
Fantastic. I'm feeling this wine right now. I just turned and I was like,
Ooh. Hello. All right, what's next on your list?
Next on my list is now this may be stereotypical, but I have RuPaul's Drag Race on there.
Okay.
And I have it on there because not just because I love it and it's near and dear to my heart, but it has it's had a huge cultural impact. That it's undeniable. It moved gay culture mainstream because gay culture has always kind of been on the fringe of pop culture. Sometimes things have been taken and pulled into mainstream culture. Kind of things like
on Community, the
Yeah,
cross-dressing.
yeah, and like hearing things like Yes Queen and stuff like that, which gay men did take from black women, but then it trickles into the mainstream little by little. But this show played a huge part in moving that culture mainstream. The move of the show from Logo to VH1 is
Big.
a prime example.
Yeah.
That really showed that like people were ready to see this on not such an obscure television channel. I mean, like we were saying before, Logo was the gay TV channel, Batman and Robin.
He only played Batman and Robin.
But it moved over to VH1, and then from there, it's had. I mean, we're fixing to see season 12 this year. But yeah, it's had a huge cultural impact, and we're going into season 12 this year. We've had 4 seasons of All Stars. We're going to be getting an Australian drag race this year. We're going to be getting a Canadian drag race this year. We just had
Drag Race Down Under.
We just had a Drag Race UK at the end of 2019. It's just exploding, and I'm so excited because it's bringing gay culture mainstream. And I think with gay culture, and I mean I think society in general is moving towards a much more accepting standpoint. But I think the moving of our culture to a more mainstream position is going to bring with it more acceptance along with that. So I'm just really excited, and I think the show has helped just immensely. Really quickly, on the flip side, Jasmine Masters, a drag queen from that show, makes this joke that says RuPaul's Drag Race done fucked up drag, and she says that because now whenever people go to local gay bars to see drag shows, a lot of times they're expecting the level of performance that they see on RuPaul's Drag Race, and the queens on RuPaul's Drag Race have tons of money and access to tons of resources that a lot of local queens don't have, and so it's kind of occasionally hurting local queens instead of hurting them. Prime example, one of my friends used to host drag race watch parties at the local gay bar, and everyone would come to watch the show, and then she would have her performance right after. But when the show ended, everyone would leave and not stay for her show.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a give and take, but I think societally it's a positive. Yeah.
Overall positive.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've had that humanities lesson, let's hear what you've got next on your list.
Let me pick a good one to follow up on that one. Well, following up on that, Rick and Morty.
Hey!
From the minds that brought you Community comes Rick and Morty. Just getting them both out of the way here.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty is just a fantastic comedy show. It is smartly written. I know that's the meme to say that it's smartly written, but it's really funny.
Big brain.
And it's not even that really. Like, it's just a high concept of much like Community.
Yeah.
They were just like campus-wide paintball games and all this stuff. They're just able to animate whatever the hell they want, so they're going to go crazy with it.
Yeah.
And it's a great show, and it started all these different trends and people prying for the new episodes and them bringing back a sauce that McDonald's never thought would have seen the light of day again.
Yeah.
Like, it has a cultural impact, and you can't deny that, make fun of people who watch it or whatever, if you will. But
did you go see the Rickmobile when it came through Orlando?
I did not. I did get Szechuan sauce though. I went up because I knew it was like this whole thing you had to wait in line. So I was like, let me just go. And there was a huge line, so then I left. So I'm not waiting in this for this sauce. So I go back like 2 weeks later, and I'm just walking in, and I'd already eaten dinner at this point. I went up, I'm like, do you have any Szechuan sauce left? They're like, yeah, you want some? I'm like, yeah, what do I have to get? Because they were promoting their McDonald's tenders again.
Okay.
And you had to get like an 8-piece of that, which was like $6. And I'm like, do I have to get that? And they're like, no, you can get whatever you want. I said, cool, 4-piece nuggets. They're like, cool. And I got that, and it was very good. If it was on the menu, I would get it consistently. Oh. That is my hot
take. With your, as Baby Yoda would say, with your chicky nuggies.
My chicky nuggies. Indeed, it's impeccable. The flavor of the chicken nuggets, the Szechuan sauce, had a tangy flair to it. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Rick and Morty. Snake Jazz is fantastic. That is one of the best jokes that show has written.
I agree.
Any thoughts on Rick and Morty?
No, I agree with what you're saying. It didn't make my list, but I agree that it's just high concept animated comedy, and it's hilarious. And the prime example of the high concept, like the Death Crystal.
Yeah.
In this season.
I respect that they're making the show they want to make instead of
exactly.
making what the fans want it to be.
Exactly. And they're taking the time to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of like, give us more, but when they do make
it's worth it.
It's worth the wait. Absolutely. And I think that makes it even more worthy of a spot. The fact that they are, again, quality over quantity. So, any other thoughts on?
No, I think that wraps up Rick and Morty for me.
Okay. So the next on my list was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That is a great show. That's not on my list, but I do watch that show.
Yeah. So my reasoning for putting this on the top 10 of the decade was that it, at least in my lifetime, I don't know if maybe shows did this in the past before I kind of became aware of pop culture. But for me, it was one of the shows to first really introduce the concept of it's all connected, like the MCU talked about, because events from the movies, at least before the past couple seasons, affected the events of the show.
Yeah, I mean that whole episode where that ties into Winter Soldier with S.H.I.E.L.D. being Hydra is
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then that changes the entire direction of the series. And I don't think it's a spoiler at this point to say even having a major character. Yeah. They had a big character show up, having been a Hydra agent the entire time. But they don't have crossover characters so much. Sam Jackson was in a couple episodes, right?
They had a few. They had Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. They had Maria Hill, Kobe Smulders, Maria Hill, and they had
was it
Lady Sif from
I was gonna say
the Thor movies, Jamie Alexander.
Yes. And that was immediately following the Dark World, right? I think.
Yes.
After the events of that.
Yeah.
But that to me was just beyond cool.
It was cool.
Seeing the events of the movies affect the TV show. But then, unfortunately, Marvel TV and the Marvel movies did have a rift.
They had a fight. Mommy and Daddy fought.
Exactly. And so we end up with this most previous season mentioning Thanos, or the season beforehand mentioning Thanos, and then
launching every cast member 75 years into the
and not addressing the Snapshot at all. Yeah. Or no, what did they call it? The
blip. That's what they called it in Far From Home.
Yes. Yeah. So they mentioned Thanos as if to kind of, and I think
get your hopes up.
Yeah, they talked about something going on in New York, and then they just completely dropped.
Well, at the time too, like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't getting renewed.
Right.
So everyone thought that they might have some first stand against Thanos and just
And I had heard, I think that because Infinity War wasn't out yet, they didn't want anything in the show to kind of give anything away, and they also didn't want any leaks from the cast of the TV show. So I guess I think that was where the rift kind of came from. So unfortunately, the it's all connected has kind of
loose.
It's not really taking place anymore. Although, from what I understand, so at the end of the last season,
I haven't caught up yet. I'm
Okay.
on like episode 8 out of the 13.
Okay.
Is there a big spoiler?
It's not a huge. It's not any like a character spoiler. It's
Do
just
they-
a setting spoiler.
They reference some stuff.
They don't reference things. They just there's a
Vague as possible.
time difference
Gotcha.
that is absolutely, I hope, going to lead to a character overlap in this new season.
Okay.
And I guess I'll leave it at that.
All right. Will I be able to pick up on it? Like, is it? It's
Oh yeah,
pretty-
when you see it, you're gonna be like, oh, I know exactly what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guess I'm binging 5 episodes tonight.
But yeah, it's just it's been another show that's consistently good. It drags in a couple places, but I mean, like the Ghost Rider arc that they did was just
Fantastic.
awesome, and
I
he
loved
was
it,
gonna get
yeah.
his own show, and then it got canceled.
I like the whole LMD thing they did last season. Last season, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
It's been really excellent. So I
Fitzsimmons is one of the best TV couples to ever exist.
incredible.
Yeah.
Their chemistry, those two actors, is
Fantastic.
just it's excellent. And like whether they're being loving with one another or having an argument, like it's so engaging
It bothers.
to watch.
Yeah, like I get sad if they're fighting.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's one of those shows definitely belongs in the top 10 of the decade, I think, in terms of
Everything.
Yep.
In terms of everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you have next on yours?
Next on mine, I have Sons of Anarchy, the motorcycle show.
Yes.
Broom, broom.
Charlie Hunnam?
Charlie Hunnam. Yeah.
Okay. I
And
did
Ron
not watch
Perlman
it,
there.
but I
Yeah.
know who he is because he's handsome.
Fair enough.
But also because
Yeah.
was it Papillon he was in last year, the remake?
What?
Charlie Hunnam, was he in Papillon with
No, he was in Narco. No, that wasn't him. That was
He was in. Charlie Hunnam was in Lost City of Z.
Yeah.
King Arthur.
King. That's a great movie, King Arthur.
Yes.
That'd be a good episode of your podcast. Just talk all about King Arthur.
I'd be down.
We brought it up earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tune in last week.
what the hell? I searched the name of Papillon, and I just need to show everybody. It's the name of the movie that I was trying to find, but these are the results that have come up,
Dog.
It's a puppy.
and I can't say that I'm disappointed.
What did you say, Papillon?
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah, 2017.
that was him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's naked in that movie.
I'm glad that's where that was.
Same year as King Arthur, I might add.
I did not know where that story was going. I could tell you that's not where I thought it was going to end. Sons
Sorry,
of
I
Anarchy.
completely took
No,
that
you're
over.
fine. He's naked at Sons of Anarchy too.
Gotta watch it. Just went to the top of my watch list.
No, it's just a very intense show, and I thought it was just very well made and well acted. There were major character deaths all the time that always felt justified and not justified, but like cohesive to the story,
Yeah.
not just like for the sense of killing a major character.
Yeah, it didn't seem gratuitous.
No, not at, well. I mean, they were gratuitous, but
Right, but I mean, but not.
but just
not
the
in terms of
the
plot.
violence and the anger. And I have never been a part of a motorcycle club, nor do I know anything about it other than what I know from the show.
Well, funny because I actually no.
Yeah, me and the Hell's Angels.
Me
Yeah.
and the boys.
Oh
my.
get it together there.
That's what I get for trying to be straight.
I was gonna make the joke. You beat me by a second.
I think we're there. I think you can do it. Permission granted.
Perfect. You heard it here first, folks.
It's on film.
Well, it's
It'll-
not digital, but yeah.
This will hold up in a court of law. No, but just and the violence in it was very real. I felt like, and just the lengths that they would go to, and just the family aspects of it was just fantastic, wonderfully acted.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I hear a lot about, and that was FX, right?
Yeah, I haven't got the chance to watch the spinoff of this other group called the Mayans.
That's right.
I've not had the chance to watch that.
So
yet.
is that another gang? Or
Yeah, they're actually in the show a lot.
Oh, okay.
They're like the
So it's their story.
rival gang.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think it takes place a little bit before the show,
Okay.
but I guess some characters have crossed I've heard, but like I know like the main guy is one of the main Mayan guys in the
Okay.
show. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Cool.
connects.
Awesome. Again, that's FX. Quality. I will sing the praises of that station forever. They're just so good. All right, so next for me was Black Mirror.
I've not watched that.
So good. If you have any remote interest in sci-fi, check it out. I put it on here because it became a hit after being put on Netflix.
Yeah.
I forget where it originally came
UK,
from.
right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think it started on BBC.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure.
I think that's the only channel they have over
Yeah.
there.
I know it was British.
Yeah.
But it was put on Netflix, and then it gained a lot of traction there, and then actually Netflix picked it up and subsequently premiered. What is happening?
Ryan's just laughing over there.
They then subsequently produced
Yeah.
2 more seasons, or maybe 3 more. I don't remember. But it is a notification. Go away, news.
Silence your cell phones. We're recording.
I don't need to know about the news. We're talking about the news, TV news.
Quiet on set.
But Black Mirror made it onto my list because it really impressed me with kind of a unflinching look at how technology was that too pretentious?
No. I'm just watching Ryan. I think Ryan needs to not work my camera.
What am I doing?
You're just like
You
looking at the camera.
did
Yeah.
work my camera last time, didn't you?
Yeah. I work both of you very well.
He does.
Wah wah wah.
I love my husband.
I'll give it a draw.
So that was a draw.
That was a draw.
That was a big D.
Don't stop opening. Can open worms everywhere.
Womp,
The Muppets, but we'll get to that in a moment. Cut this too.
This episode's gonna be 15 minutes.
I believe it.
But no, Black Mirror.
Channels. Yes, Black Mirror.
It really is very impressive with its unflinching kind of look at technology and the way it affects humans. And a lot of the episodes actually like have kind of horribly depressing endings.
Isn't the
which-
first one like the mayor has to like
Yeah.
sleep with a sheep or a pig?
A
or
pig,
something?
yeah. He's being blackmailed into fucking a
Blackmailed
pig.
on Black Mirror,
Yeah,
having sexual relations with a pig.
yeah,
Bestiality.
yeah.
We don't like.
I shouldn't have done that. Cut that.
What nightmares are made of.
He's only
I've heard to
leaning to
skip.
the saying, "Oh, babe."
I've heard to skip the first episode, the first
Yeah,
season.
I mean, well, no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
It's all very good. It's just the first season. I would suggest not sitting there and watching a lot of them at once because it will kind of put you in a funk. But it's really excellent television. And then they went from a lot of British actors in the first season to when Netflix picked them up. They then had some American actors, like Bryce Dallas Howard actually stars in one of my favorite episodes called Nosedive.
I heard that she was on an episode.
Yeah, and it's really really good, and that's kind of
I'm just looking something up for my next thing.
no, it's
Continue.
really it's fine. But that's a play on how social media affects society, and yeah, it's really really great. The past
Haley
season-
Atwell was in the first season, wasn't she?
Yes,
for a bit?
yes, she was. Yeah, and the other thing is that it's an anthology series. So not only do the seasons not have anything to do with each other,
The
but each
episodes.
episode is just its own short story, which is really cool.
They're only like an hour long, right? Or they?
Yeah, just about. Some of them are a little bit longer.
Is the Bryce Dallas Howard one the best one?
It's really hard to say because there are some really really good ones. Like there's one called White Bear that it's a good episode in and of itself, but then the last minute of it just changes your whole perspective on the episode and makes it
I like that
much
stuff.
better.
It's just like last minute you're just left with something, and then it ends.
Yeah.
You're just like, what?
Exactly.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, and that is Black Mirror, so you should absolutely check it out. But yeah, it's just really incredible television. So made my list.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I start with the Bryce Dallas Howard one?
I would just say
Ooh,
start.
those words there. Should I start with the Bryce Dallas Howard episode?
It's a good introduction to
Okay.
it.
See, like my thing is like with stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
I still am much in that episodic formula in
Yeah.
my mind that I would probably start from the beginning and watch them all in order, even though they have no order.
Right. Yeah, and you don't have to sequentially watch them, but
I probably would.
yeah,
it's
which
just-
I mean,
yeah.
it gives you kind of a
Yeah.
preset order. I would say probably start with the Bryce Dallas Howard one because she's a familiar face.
Yeah.
And it's a really really good episode. And then you can go back and kind of get
Go
back
through it
into
at
the
that
more
point.
kind of weird ones.
Kind of like how, like with the Weeping Angels Doctor, it's a good introductory episode, and then you go back and you understand everything
Exactly,
else.
exactly.
I gotcha.
Why don't you give me the next item on your list?
We can only play 4 seconds of that song.
Brilliant.
So we'll probably still get banned.
Oh god, is that really on your list of the best of the decade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, you know what? Just go.
Yep. I was
It's
gonna.
his show.
I was gonna say. All right. Please explain. The floor is yours.
Just check it off that I'm talking about it.
I'm gonna back up from my mic and
Yeah.
let you go.
What started off as a cultural phenomenon, much like Game of Thrones, was Walking Dead. I felt like it got people excited, and it was at a time when zombies were kind of like no one was doing anything with them. So it was just like let's bring zombies in, and they did, and it was solid there. They had a great run there for a few seasons, and then it kind of tailed off. But I still love it for what it's worth. So while it may critically not be one of the best shows of the decade, I personally still enjoy the show.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Those first couple seasons
Yeah.
were really incredible.
The first like
television.
4 seasons are absolutely fantastic. I would honestly say season 5 too.
Yeah. The season after the All Out War plotline.
Yes.
When after. I think it's far enough away that I can say this. After they've defeated Negan, what is that next season? What number season is that?
That is
because
a great
that-
question.
that-
That's what
It's
that is.
either 8 or 9.
Yeah,
I think
because
that's 9.
that is when I gave up.
So you gave up, yeah, once there was just kind of nothing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
and,
Negan
and
was
it
such
very
an-
much was nothing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. They are on mid-season hiatus, not
Oh.
season hiatus, to
Okay.
clarify my statement from before. They ended that at the end of season 8. So going into season 9 is
Okay,
when...
so that's when I stopped.
Yeah, season 9. So you're season and a half behind.
Okay.
Honestly, though, like the first half
I'm not
is-
going to catch up.
Yeah, honestly, it's been solid.
Yeah, really?
The whole All Out War storyline and Negan, that was very poorly done.
Yeah, very much so.
But
Did
after
you read the
this,
comics?
I have. I actually am at the point where Negan kills Glenn in the comics.
Okay.
Spoilers. So that's about as far as I'm got. So I haven't even really gotten to like the All Out War
Mhm.
plot in the comics. But like the seasons with the Governor were absolutely fantastic.
Oh my
he was a
God.
phenomenal
When
villain.
the first time I recall watching a television show
Yeah.
and feeling chills, like just feeling my blood run cold, was when the governor killed Herschel.
Yeah. Fantastic.
In that moment,
That whole episode, fantastic.
I never understood the meaning of that phrase, feeling your blood run cold,
Yeah.
until that moment. I was like, oh my God.
They have these new villains in now, the Whispers.
Yes,
from the
and they're in the comics, yes.
They're horrifying in the
Yeah.
show, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're
in
scary.
It. Like the plot line is kind of just like they're stretching it out. You can tell at this point, but the performances that the main alpha and beta are giving are absolutely fantastic. And the show works really well without a leading man.
Oh, that's
which-
right, because Rick is...
Yeah, which I did not think it would,
Mhm.
and I would argue that it works better because I felt like they didn't know what to do with Rick.
Right.
So what they did with Rick was fine because it got him out, and now like this ensemble with everyone in different locations, like it just works because it's not like, okay, Rick's the main character,
Right.
and now why are we with this other group if Rick's not there?
Right, right.
And now when you're with the other groups, you're like, okay, well, like Michonne's there, or
Is she still on the show?
yeah, I think she's.
Because I heard she's leaving, right?
I think she's leaving at the end, sometime at the end of this season, and I guess Lauren Cohen as Maggie is coming back.
Because she left to go do her own show, right?
Yeah, and then that got canceled. So she was like, "Hey, Walking Dead, guess who's back?" For what it's worth, I still like The Walking Dead, and as many
You
seasons
fool.
as many seasons as they want to give me is as many seasons as I will watch.
That's
And
fair.
yeah,
You know, and I was interested once they killed Carl. Carl!
and they killed him right when he was a good character too. I didn't
Right.
care about him until that last
He
season.
wasn't a
and
shitty child
yeah.
anymore.
He was fantastic. That he was John Wicking people left and right,
Yeah, and oh my god,
killing trash men.
when he lost his eye, man, that
Yeah,
was
that was good.
That was a panel right
That
out
was
of the comics,
yeah.
which was excellent.
Never got Rick without his hand, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe in his TV movies, all three of them. Yeah. Thank you. What's that producer's name? Scott Gimple. Thank you, Scott Gimple, for what you're doing. The Lord's work. Next.
Yeah. All right, so my next one is surprise, surprise, Fleabag.
Really, I did not think that would make your list.
I know, shocker.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Herman Schultz, I'm shocked.
Good pull.
Marvel. That's a Marvel. That's a deep cut.
Fleabag. So as I mentioned before, it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge's show that she started as a one-woman live theater
Yeah.
performance and then made into a television series. It's full of soliloquies and asides to the audience, which is something that I saw in oh my god, I guess I've tried to erase him from my head. Kevin Spacey's show,
House of Cards.
House of Cards. Yes. So that was a device that
That was teetering on my list, and I ultimately decided against it.
Yeah, it was the device of soliloquies and like talking directly to the audience. I feel like it was used very unevenly throughout that show. Like they would go for long stretches without using it.
Then the last season was just like every scene had it.
Right.
It was awful.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I stopped watching the last season.
Well, see, the thing about that is like that was Robin Wright's show from season 2.
Right.
She
right.
killed it, and then just this last season when she had the show, it just
Too much of a good thing.
yeah.
But
Sorry, Fleabag. Yeah.
yeah, but I made it one of my top 10. Honestly, I watched it in September, I think. Watched both seasons. It's a really short watch. And it jumped onto my top 10 of the decade just because it's so brilliantly done.
Yeah.
And because it made that jump from the stage to the small screen so effectively. And I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. Look at the awards, it's winning. So it's just
That's on Amazon.
yeah. It's an Amazon original, and it's just incredible. I don't know what else I can say about it, other than go check it out. It is so funny. I've laughed harder at that show.
All right, if you had to tell me to watch Fleabag or Marvelous Mrs. Maisel first.
First, I would say Fleabag because it's a shorter watch, so you can get it out of the way.
Okay.
And then you can dive into Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because there's a lot more of Mrs. Maisel to watch.
Gotcha.
There's 30 hours of television to watch with Mrs.
They're all
Maisel.
hour long.
Yeah.
Fleabag's 30 minutes.
Not even. Some of them are like 24.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And there's only I think 4 episodes in each season.
Oh, that's nothing.
So yeah, I watched it like almost in a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good. I would say start with that because it's a shorter watch. You can get it out of the way and then dive into Maisel. Yeah, Fleabag. So what else do you have?
Well, since we did not specify what decade, I'm going back to the 70s. Faulty Towers. I'm kidding, but that is a great show. Check it out on Netflix.
Oh, I have not.
Yeah, it's an old British show with one of the Monty Python guys.
Oh.
What channel?
Netflix.
What channel was it on?
Netflix. BBC. It was on originally, I believe, and then it's on Netflix now. Faulty, Fawlty Towers. So John Cleese. Fantastic. One of my favorite comedies. Going back to my actual list, though, Breaking Bad.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
That has been on my watch list forever, and I'm not.
Fantastic show. I love Bryan Cranston as an actor, and that just really solidified it, as well as having a great just ensemble of extra characters that it was just so. That was another one that people were just talking about and waiting, and there were cliffhangers, and there was a giant cliffhanger, and then they made you wait 6 months for it to get, or sorry, a year for it to get resolved.
Even
But
worse.
like the biggest cliffhanger of the show. And it's just like, it was just so intense, and you never knew what was going to happen. Aaron Paul gives a great performance. Just the entire cast and show, the writing. Vince Gilligan, they actually had a spin-off movie,
El Camino, right?
El Camino, with Aaron Paul's character. Fantastic movie as well. I really enjoyed it. And it was just a great show.
Awesome. Yeah, one of my acting professors in school talked about Bryan Cranston's performances
Fantastic.
in that
Yeah.
show constantly, just because they're so incredible. So I need to watch that because I
What
feel
if
like
Mr. Rogers cooked meth? That's basically the show. I think that's how it was pitched initially.
really
Yeah.
because he's a teacher, right?
He's a
that
chemistry teacher.
sells meth.
Yeah,
to
but just like
pay
he was
for
just
his cancer treatment, right?
yeah, but he was just a chemistry teacher, had his wife and kid at home, and wore sweaters, and I think it was like pitched as like, what if Mr. Rogers cooked meth?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a must watch for me
I would highly recommend.
because I feel like watching Bryan Cranston perform is just a masterclass.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What was your next show though?
So my next one was Orange is the New Black.
Okay. OINTB.
What?
OITNB.
Oh yes. I thought you said YIMDB, and I was like,
No. OITNB. Orange is the New Black.
yes.
That's what it's abbreviated to, as the young kids call it.
Yes. So I did make a note. It wasn't the first big Netflix original. That was House of Cards.
Yes.
But I feel like Orange is the New Black is the original that that
Jumps right at it. Yeah,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Oh
Ooh.
god, it's like it hasn't been there the entire time. I felt like it was the original that really kick-started Netflix's kind of streak of original content that had people talking. You know what I mean? It became those must-watch shows, and it changed the way I think, or at least it started to introduce the change in the way that we watch TV. In terms of like binging, watching things like that, dropping a whole season at once, like they did with that. I came across it right before season 2 dropped, so I had never, and that was right when I went to college. So I had all this time outside of class and no responsibilities, and
So just binge watch Orange is the
yeah,
New Black.
exactly.
Yeah.
No one.
That was me with Californication.
no one to tell me when to go to bed.
I watched all, I think it was like 10 seasons, 100 and some episodes over my 6-week summer semester.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a great show. Didn't make my list though, but it's great.
But yeah, I think that kind of started the trend of streaming and binging and just changing the way that we consume television as a medium. And also, I mean, it just ended actually in 2019 as well. And it was, I think, one of the first shows that had such a predominantly female cast that really told the stories of these women. And that's another reason that it's on my list, is because it told the story of these marginalized women in such a profound way. And there were a couple things that I felt the final season fell short with, like Pensatucky's story. I was kind of like, but overall, it's an incredible show, and I really think it, if not even because of the content of the show, but because of the formatting that it kind of kicked off, that it deserves to be on the list.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I have not watched it, but I've heard a lot of people say great things about it.
It's really
I
good.
feel like that's a lot of my sayings tonight, is just like, I've not watched it.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
Yeah.
and that just goes to show that the shows that we're talking about deserve
Yeah.
to be on there because people are
Yeah.
talking about them, and that says a lot about a show. But
Absolutely.
the season 2 finale of Orange is the New Black is, to this day, one of the most satisfying television season finales
Yeah.
that I've ever seen. Watch it, you'll see what I mean.
Add it to the list.
Yeah. So what's next for you?
Next I just had It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Consistently funny. I mean,
Our producer Dalton has been telling me to watch this show for 6 months.
it's
Pretty sure when we
fantastic.
first met.
Yeah,
Probably day one, knowing him.
and I still have not.
I don't really have much to say on it. It's just a really good comedy show that is very well written and has remained consistently funny for 14 seasons, Dalton.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
For all 14 of its seasons. Again, FX, quality over quantity. They come out once a year with like a 10-episode season. I'm pretty sure is what the numbers are about. And it's just great cast, great ensemble, great performances. Danny DeVito is fantastic as always.
And that's on Hulu?
Can you watch it on Hulu?
Yeah, they took it off Netflix. It is on Hulu.
They took it off Netflix. It was on Netflix, but it's on Hulu. And then I guess if you have like DirecTV or something, you could do FX now and probably watch most of them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a definite must watch. Or else Dalton would kill me.
Yeah, that is accurate.
Or at least cancel the podcast.
We're being held hostage.
That'd be a good prank.
So that was yours.
Yep.
So my
Yep.
turn. One that we just mentioned, The Good Place.
Yes,
Um,
fantastic.
Yeah, it made my list, not only because it's a fantastic show, but because I think it is one of the greatest twists in modern television. That season 1 twist.
Yeah, no one was ready for that.
Yeah, no.
And it just totally pivoted the whole show.
Yeah. And it just, I don't even know what else to say. It was just,
Yeah. I mean, Michael Schur is the guy who created that show. He created The Office and Parks and Rec. Like, he plays Mose on The Office, Dwight's cousin.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Michael Schur.
Okay.
So, yeah, and just great cast. Kristen Bell, fantastic. Ted
Yeah.
Danson, fantastic.
Ted Danson, man.
Ted Danson, man. That's Silver Fox.
He's amazing. The guy who plays Jason.
Jason Mendoza from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Duval.
But
I
it's
do an impression during like every bit. Just stop me next time.
no. I mean, honestly, I'm the best.
Thank you.
A horse.
A horse?
A horse.
Hey, I get one horse for this whole kingdom that I am building. No, it's a great show.
Yeah, and the other thing about it that really impresses me and also put it on this list was the fact that it's such like a philosophical study
Yeah.
in 20-minute bits. Like,
Yeah, because
what other
of
show-
Chidi.
yeah.
The moral center.
And what other show does that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they go for such high-minded concepts.
Educated, yeah.
Exactly, and they have a really great podcast that accompanies the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's official. It's by
NBC.
Yeah, by NBC. And they not so much anymore because they've kind of moved away from kind of that lesson a week type deal. But they used to break down kind of that philosophical
They'd
theory.
go in depth on it.
Yeah, and kind
Like
of
the
how the
trolley
characters dealt
problem
with
and
it.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one of the funniest episodes of that show.
Yes.
With the blood just constantly just... Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that podcast is great as well. Check it out. I think it's just called the Good Place Podcast. But that was another thing that I loved so much about the show is that it's so intellectual. And I think that made it really special. So
Yeah, definitely deserving of that list.
yeah, absolutely. All right. How about your next one?
Next, I have Better Call Saul, which is a Breaking Bad spin-off show. That I would honestly argue that I like Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad.
Was I think I was talking to Dalton about that, and I think you said something similar, right?
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good consensus on it. It's tonally different. It's directed different. It's stylist. It's just so different.
If I could like butt in for a second,
Yeah.
to me,
No.
Do you want to get closer to the mic?
Alright, that's good. To me, it's one of the most cinematic shows on television.
Absolutely. It honestly, if you take any episode, you would think it was directed by like the Coen brothers or
Yeah.
something. Just the shots they choose and
That makes me. Do I need to watch
Intensity.
Breaking Bad first?
You don't need to, but you'll appreciate the character more.
Okay.
you'll appreciate the character more, and then other characters show up from Breaking Bad
Okay.
that like they make when you watch the show, they do a good job of explaining who they are,
Okay.
but there's just this underlying menace and excitement or whatever the character be. If it's like a character you love or a character who's like a bad guy, there's just those
That you
underlying
wouldn't get if
tones,
you
like you
guys
know
hadn't
where you're
watched it.
getting. Yeah.
Okay.
but it's wonderfully acted as well. Bob Odenkirk does a fantastic job as that and owns that character. And he's older now, playing younger with and he looks fantastic. Given it, there's a great actress in it. Her name's Rhea Seehorn.
Is that the lead female?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Her name's the character's name's Kim, I think. Honestly, in my opinion, always overlooked for awards. I think she gives one of the best female performances in a drama series.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, Dalton and I were talking about that the other day, and that whole, I guess, universe.
Yeah.
I need to get into.
Yes, absolutely.
So those are.
I would say binge watch Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then, do you think you should watch Better Call Saul, or should he go right into El Camino?
I think you should watch Better Call Saul first, but if I had the power to watch El Camino after that finale, I would.
Yeah, but like that, but also I worry that it lacks that immediate aftertaste of like going right into it. Like, I think part of the appeal of El Camino was that it had been so long and no one was expecting it, that you're like,
that is true. They
it.
just like dropped that out of nowhere, didn't they?
So I would say go watch Better Call Saul and then go into that. But fantastic show.
Yeah, I feel like I have so much on my watch list. And
I do too.
It just keeps coming out, and then I'm trying to keep up with the new stuff, so then the old stuff gets put on the back burner.
Yep.
The back burner.
I'm right with you.
It keeps getting put on the back burner, and so it's so hard to keep caught up.
Yeah.
Like this age
my list
of
is
so much content.
My list is just perpetually growing,
Yeah.
and I have no sign of catching up to it.
Yeah, my manager at work today, Sidebar, I work at a movie theater. But we were talking about some different films, and I was like, I'll add it to my watch list. And he was like, how long is your watch list? And I was like,
you're like,
miles.
There's no watch list. I'm just telling that to appease you. Yeah.
It is, but yeah, my it's just, there's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the movie list is huge. The TV show is huge. There's just so much.
And there's no time.
No time.
Does not exist.
No.
What's next on yours?
Next on my list is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Okay.
Which is a really phenomenal, if you're not familiar with it, it's a really phenomenal little musical comedy.
Yeah, I heard there's like a song every episode.
Yeah. In fact, there's multiple. Not in every episode. Sometimes there's only one. But Rachel Bloom was a musical theater major in college, and she was a YouTube artist that wrote different, not parodies, but original songs, and what is the I think she wrote one called "Fuck Me, George Orwell."
Okay.
Yeah, and just like hilarious. Like it's just she's a very, very funny lady.
Okay.
And she wrote and starred in the show as a woman named Rebecca Bunch, who is hopelessly in love with this guy. She moves from New York City to California. She follows this guy, but then pretends like she moved to that town for a job. And the whole show is about her figuring out relationships, but also that show is one of the best and most honest looks at mental health and the process of accepting and then getting help. Even though it's looked at through a comedy lens and through a musical lens, even it's so honest and even brutally so sometimes. And there's a song in one episode called "My Diagnosis," which it's funny and comedic, but it also is about her relief at finally knowing why she reacts to things the way she does, and it's really, really amazing. But the other thing that really blows me away is that it's essentially a 4-season long original musical, because not only do they write all these original songs for all these shows, for all these episodes, but then in later episodes you hear in the underscoring of the show
The other songs.
the motifs from and the melodies from the songs in a scene where like the theme of that song makes sense.
So it rewards you for keeping with it.
Exactly. And then like in the 4th season, they had some short reprises of songs from like the 1st season, and it's just
it was just so good.
It just continues.
Yeah, and it was so good. And then they did a special after it ended.
It's done?
Yes. I think they chose to end it. I believe so, because they were done with the story.
Yeah. You can only drag it on for so long.
Exactly. But they did a special after it ended called Yes, It's Really Us Singing, because the whole cast were singers, and so they did a live concert of them doing songs from the show, singing live, and it was great. And I'm sad it's done, but I'm glad it happened. So, yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next on your list?
Peaky Blinders, Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy. It's just very well directed, very well acted, very intense storylines, and it's just overall a great show. Watch it. Listen to your straight friends.
I'm really gonna love if the fact that I said that my straight friends told me about it
Is not
doesn't make it in there, and you just say, "Listen to your straight friends."
For context, the audio cut out. He said that all his straight friends tell him to watch this show.
He's lying. That never happened.
That I am not lying. We have it on video, but not audio. We can read lips.
You'll never know what I'm saying.
Next on yours.
The next one is Broad City, which was a show that was on Comedy Central. It starred Abby Jacobson and Ilana Glazer. Thank you. But every single episode was.
I've watched a few. It's really funny.
Yeah,
very funny.
Not only is it hilarious, but it's also a really accurate portrayal of what it's like to live in New York City. So it was just. It was hilarious to watch, but it was also kind of nice for me to watch and reminisce about living in the city. One of my absolute favorite things that just sold me on the show was that whenever someone said Trump's name, they bleeped it out. They would let them say like all the other cuss words, but whenever someone said Trump, they bleeped it out, which I just
knowing those two their comedy. That was probably 100% their idea.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so funny. But yeah, I can't wait to see Abby is doing a show or a series version of A League of Their Own, which I think is going to be
that'll be good.
Pretty phenomenal.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. But yeah. And so, are you on the last one on your list?
I am. Or was that your last one?
I have one more.
You have one more?
Yeah.
All right. My last one is The Muppets. It was. It was. I did say The Muppets.
Fuck yes.
Oh, it made my top 10 of the decade easily. It came out in 2015 on ABC. It was a just hysterical rendition. It was the Muppets. So basically, the whole premise of the show is Miss Piggy has a late night talk show, and everyone else runs the show, and Kermit is like the head of it, essentially. And it's blatant adult humor.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
It is not a kid's show in any sense, and I don't think anyone was ready to see the Muppets like that. I feel like their goal was trying to gain back their old audience who's adults now and not gain a new one with kids. But I guess they're getting a show on Disney Plus, so that might be geared more toward children. But it was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I remember that was airing. You said 2015, right? So
2015.
That was when I was in college. I remember living for every episode of that.
Oh yeah,
like,
I used to go over to Dalton's house and we'd watch it live. Like we were that invested in this show because it was absolutely hysterical.
It was so good. I think some of the vulgarity and the adult humor is part of why I got canceled.
Yeah. I think that there's a guy named Bill Beretta. I believe he was like one of the original performers. He was like Swedish Chef and a few of the other ones. But I think he always had more that humor. And I think he was an executive producer on the show over other people. Bill Beretta directed the Happy Time Murders, which was that puppet movie that came out with Melissa McCarthy. Yeah, and he was the voice of the main puppet. Yeah, but that was just
I thought it was funny as hell.
Suck your dick.
Children of the Corn. Do I want chili with corn?
What a great fucking movie.
But so I think he just immediately had that humor and then tried to make it the Muppets and was like, that didn't work out. I'm gonna go make a hard R Muppet movie. Yeah. And then he did. Oh my God. And it's fantastic. Yeah. I love that movie. It is a guilty pleasure. It's so bad. FBI, what does that stand for?
Fucking big idiot.
But yeah, just so I think that might have been where the disconnect. Maybe they gave Bill Beretta too much control. I'm not entirely positive.
Yeah,
Allegedly. But yeah, that wraps up my list. You got one more.
I do. Mine is American Horror Story.
Okay.
So kind of like your Walking Dead.
Yes.
You're
trudging and trudging along.
Yes, I have not given up on good old AHS. It definitely has degraded in recent years for sure. But even though that's the case, the cultural impact has still been huge because I feel like everyone has seen at least one season or at least one episode.
I have not.
Oh, well,
But
fuck.
Bwah, bwah, bwah. No, I know a lot of people have watched the
Yeah.
show. I just have not
Yeah.
seen it.
But you have heard of it.
Yes, I could honestly, I could probably go through and tell you every season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been so prevalent. One of the things about it is that even though it, I guess, may forego consistency, it constantly reinvents itself.
FX.
Yes, FX.
This is an FX show.
Yes. And this is not one that I would say quality over quantity. I would say
They're churning them out.
kind of the opposite. Yeah. But it does constantly reinvent itself. For example, the sixth season, which was Roanoke, just completely went out of the regular narrative progression of the show and turned it into the first half of the season was a reenactment show, and then the second half of the season was those actors from the reenactment show joining the real people that they were
that's cool.
portraying in going back to the Roanoke house that they were reenact. It was just a total mindfuck and twist. It was amazing. And so they do things like that and reinvent themselves. So in the recent years, this past season, Apocalypse was kind of masturbatory and very fan service and not a whole lot of plot.
I bet they come out with a season soon that's going to be called like American Horror Story Redux, where it's going to be like they're going to go back to the house in the first season.
Yeah, well, they did in Apocalypse.
Oh, maybe I was already preempted.
But they
How fortuitous.
Yeah, I love season 1, love season 2. Season 3 to this day is my favorite.
Is that Hotel?
That's Coven.
Coven.
Because Jessica Lange as Fiona Good, the witch, just the witches are excellent. But yeah, American Horror Story is one of
Top
Ryan,
10 of your decade.
Yeah, it's one of Ryan Murphy's true successes.
Okay.
That it was, I think, one of his first successes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still going strong. So yeah. So that wraps up my top 10 of the decade.
Same here, and I think that's actually a wrap of the episode.
Yeah, we have been talking for a long time, guys.
Sorry, viewers. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
viewers. So yeah.
Full, half, and
Yeah. 2 horses, 1 sword.
half a shield.
Yeah. Who knows what the hell we're talking about?
An agent
I don't. It's
shield?
been 3 hours.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
That wraps up January. Join us in February when we will be talking about whatever the hell happens then.
Yeah.
And
don't forget to check out our other podcast on the Movie Nights YouTube channel, as well as our social media. It's Nights_movie for Facebook and
Instagram and Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter is Nights_movie, and Facebook it's just Movie Nights.
Some dickhead took Movie Nights on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
Yes. So Nights_movie. We'll see you guys next month.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Yep.
What's the name of our podcast again?
Last month in TV.
Last one on TV. Thank you.
Please leave that in the beginning.